Oh my god, the host just triple sat me.
Do you see who's food running today?
56 was just sitting there making out the entire time I was trying to take
Why do we have
order.
so many servers on the floor? Did you hear about 73?
This is a work of fiction. Any similarity to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events, is purely coincidental.
I was like, are you following me or not? You're just staring at me.
Just waiting for this asshole to drive by. And it's super cool Mustang. Oh my god, there he goes.
Oh, there's a bunch of them.
Oh, look at them all. They're a little club.
Oh, they're so hot.
Oh, and they're honking.
Oh, and they don't even go at green lights. Welcome back to Rolling Silverware. I'm Bunny.
I'm Kat.
And this is our post-shift shit talk.
Yeah, this is gonna be a shit show. Like,
yeah,
this is just gonna be a bitch fest.
Shit show. Yeah,
I just meant in a sense. This is just gonna be a bitch fest.
Yeah.
I have nothing good to say this week.
Surprisingly little positive to say. Yeah, today was a little crazy. I mean, both you and I were out yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So had a great day off and spent the day with each other, which is always nice. And then came back, and the minute I walk in, it's just like, oh, you got a table. And it's like, okay, well, I'll head right over to them. No big deal. And you would work the morning, so I had seen you briefly before everything crumbled at the seams. So yeah, I went from having one table to having 7 tables.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it was like they sat me again, so it was like I have 3, then they sat me out of my section because my section didn't have any clean tables. And it was like, okay, no big deal, so now that's 4. And then they sat me outside, so that's 5. And then they sat me one more time in my section because now a table had been cleaned, so that's 6. And then I had noticed in my times going out to the patio to check on that table,
There was a random table.
there was a random, 205 had not been greeted and now other people are on because it's like 4:30. So there's other servers on for the night. And I'm looking around like, what? So I walk up and I'm like, hey guys, have we had a chance to has anybody had a chance to greet you or come up and get some drink orders going? And they're like, no, not yet. I go, great, because I know exactly how long they've been sitting there. And it was a while. So I greeted them. They were ready to order and everything. This woman was gorgeous and at least halfway through her pregnancy, and she looked great, and she was very sweet, and so was the husband. And I just did everything I could to try to make that up for them, to try to make it, not seem like they were just left alone. But the guy had said, what's going on? Because he looked around, he's like, yeah, what's going on? And I was like, well, I mean, it's just transition, and sometimes that can be a little rocky. I was like, but somebody was definitely supposed to be here, so I'm here now.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that. And then, once everybody did come on for the night, we kind of died out.
So quick.
That was it. It was at the start of my shift and at the very end of my shift was the only time in which I significantly had tables.
And you mentioned I worked the morning. Reality is I worked a double.
Yeah, you did end up staying through the night.
But I don't understand why. It made no sense to me. The person that was supposed to be my relief was doing training this morning. And so she was there, at 11, whatever. And then by 4 o'clock comes around, server manager, is telling her oh yeah, don't worry about it. I'll send you home. We'll get you home. Don't worry about it. We're figuring it out. We'll get it covered. And I'm like, why? But I guess what happened yesterday is they got super overwhelmed. Yesterday was an absolute shit show.
Yeah,
I
had heard remnants of that.
Yeah. So, a lot of the servers were telling us about, what happened yesterday. I guess it was just all the weak servers were on a Saturday night. And
it was a busy Saturday night.
It was a busy Saturday night. So, the weaker servers that couldn't take more than 4 tables meant that the, 2 strong servers that were on ended up having to take, 7 or 8 tables. And, it was just an absolute shit show. Everyone was busy no matter how many tables they had.
Right.
Because they're, they either have 8 or they had 4 and they're at their limit.
Yeah, they're at their limit.
Everyone was just kind of at their limit last night. And
oh, man.
Yeah, I guess it was an absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah.
So, and my relief had worked that last night. Yeah. And she, was lead server, and she hasn't been feeling well. So they asked her last night, hey, can you do this training tomorrow morning? She's like, I guess, but can you try and find a way? Can you help me cover my night shift? Because I don't feel well.
Right.
And
I feel like garbage.
Yeah. I can't work your training in the morning and then work a full shift at night. And so the server manager yesterday was like, yeah, no worries. I got you covered. Don't worry about it. So today, when she came in, she kind of, was like, okay, I'm leaving, right? You got that covered. Yeah. But she hadn't made any phone call to get that covered. Ugh. She was just like, yeah, we'll figure it out. and her figuring it out with somebody who's been a server for all of, what, 3 months, 4 months into one of the strongest sections?
I mean, she's been a server for longer than that.
Has she? How long has she? I'm genuinely, how
I
long has
think
she
she's
been
been a server for close to a year.
Okay.
But no, definitely, she's definitely not the strongest of servers. There's nothing wrong with her. But yeah, when I got that news that it was like, oh, we're going to move her into the lounge section, I had the same look you did. I said, what?
Yeah.
And then server manager was like, well, I'm figuring it out. And it's like, she was in a panic. Also, I watched her, like after you left to take a break, I watched her have, like, slowly start to break down. Like,
No shit.
yeah, like one thing after the next after that. And everybody's coming to her because we all need things. Because for the two of us that were on, we are overwhelmed. And then the new people coming on are just getting thrown a bunch of stuff, like, super quick.
Oh, you're talking about the server manager was breaking down.
The server manager was just, like, cracking.
Yeah.
Like, it was awkward to be a part of it. And like, two people asked her for just one simple thing, and sometimes that just goes right out the window with her, and
It goes out the window on a good day with her.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
And she was just, I mean, it was frantic for a little while there.
Yeah, and I don't. It's wild, because obviously I had to take my break when I had to take it because
Right.
I was about to hit my 6 hours. I was about to violate.
Yeah.
So I had to take my break at 4:30, and because I had been there since 11, and then. It was not a great time because there just wasn't enough people on. Like, this should have been figured out so much sooner than during transition.
Yeah, right at the busiest moment, seemingly, of our day.
And the server manager is, like, kind of known by, like, a lot of the servers, if she was supposed to watch my section, and then she never once went into my section for half an hour. So all of my people don't have anything that they need.
Also, as a manager, you don't watch people's sections while they're on break.
Right.
That's not something you offer to do. That's why when she offered to do it for you, I gave you a look like, what? Because that's not... What she needs to do is just get somebody else to cover that spot.
Yeah.
Or have you stay until somebody new comes on and they can at least
The problem is I couldn't
there.
stay.
Well, I mean, if you violate, then you violate. Like, that's all there is to it. That we get
Yeah,
you
I
that
guess.
break either way, you know? But to put that on her, you had how many tables when you left for break?
I had a full section.
Yeah. So
I
you had
like
5
6
tables. Yeah, 6?
Yeah.
You had 6 tables, some of whom were getting ready to pay out,
Yeah.
but some were absolutely not.
Some were just starting,
And then the minute that Lounge 2 came on, she was told to finish covering your break. So the moment she walks in the door, it's like, okay, so there's 7 tables. 1 is yours, and the other, 4 that are hopefully closing out soon belong to Kat, and good luck.
Yeah.
Like, it was not handled well.
No,
I'll say
not
that.
at all. Even so, the training this morning, I guess they just, like, figured it out magically last night. Asked the lead server that was working last night, like, hey, can you come in and do this training this morning?
Right.
And the other 3 people that she was supposed to do this training with, one of them showed up on time. She was there. Another one showed up, he was told last night, showed up in, like, regular clothes, which he was told to show up in regular clothes, which is not standard. Standard is you show up in your full uniform for this kind of training. And he showed up in regular clothes because he was told to show up in regular clothes. So,
I mean, maybe they cut the slack because they were just informing him last night. Like,
maybe, but he has a uniform. So if you're going to tell him, hey, come back, it's not like he, sleeps in his car. Like, the kid has a home. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know.
I'm fairly positive.
But also, like, I would show up to a training shift in regular clothes because especially a last minute one.
For sure, that's what I'm saying. If nobody had mentioned anything to me,
Right.
I would typically show up for any type of, like, outside training in regular clothes.
Yeah.
But he was specifically told to come in regular clothes, which means they
That's
had
weird.
the
They had the moment
wherewithal
to tell him.
Yeah, to tell him how to dress for this meeting or for this training, and they didn't tell him the correct thing.
Sure.
Which is so against standard. And then the other 2, one of them, I have no idea, he never showed up, so I don't know if they never told him or they did tell him, and this is his second job. Like, he has the job as a tattoo artist.
Maybe he wouldn't have been able to make it.
Yeah, it's possible that he just couldn't make it, especially that last minute. And then the third one, they literally just never told him. They called him at 11 o'clock this morning to be like, hey, by the way, you got to come in for training today.
Hey, how come you're not here for that training shift that nobody told you about?
Right? Bunkers. Luckily, he came in, right?
Sure.
So it was like, whatever. So that's like 11:30. That's when I'm walking, you know what I mean? I walked in at 11 to all of this happening. So I knew it was not going to be a great day from the jump. Luckily, it was busy. I had a lot of, decent guests, not bad. I did have one guest though. Oh my gosh. This woman looks at me and she goes, I really want my salmon poached. And I was like,
Great,
oh,
we don't do that.
yeah. And I was like, I'm really sorry. We don't even have like the kitchen components. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we don't have the pans or the pots and stuff
Yeah.
like that to do that. And we can't do that. And she goes, you can't poach salmon? And I was like, no.
Can't poach an egg. Like,
That's
it
what I was
doesn't
like-
really matter.
I was like, no, we can't poach your salmon. I'm sorry. That's just, we don't
I
have.
can bake it. I can
Right.
pan fry it.
I can pan
grill
sear
it.
I can so
crust
many
it.
things I
Yeah.
can do for you. Poaching is not one of them.
Yeah,
I'm
I
very
feel like,
sorry.
I feel like Forrest Gump talking about all the different ways that I can serve you shrimp, but I cannot poach it.
No. And I even checked with one of our managers who's like, hey, can we
Right,
poach a
in
salmon
the off
just to
chance.
make sure? Yeah, and she was like, no, we can't do that. You handled that correctly. And I was like, okay, just making
All right,
sure.
perfect, yeah.
Same lady though. She goes, well, I really wanted like steamed vegetables. And I'm like, yeah, some of our vegetables we can go ahead and steam for
Yeah.
you. And she goes, so you can steam the vegetables, but you can't, you know what? Never mind. And oh my God.
Oh my God.
In my head, I'm just like, bitch, you 100% know that those are different processes.
Yeah, steaming something in our steamer that we use for fucking steaming the crabs and lobsters. Yeah, I can throw anything in there.
Yeah.
You want me to steam your salmon for you? I can do that.
That's what I'm saying. I can,
Poaching is an entirely different. Maybe she doesn't know. Maybe
I don't-
she thinks
maybe she doesn't know what
means
poaching is.
steamed,
maybe.
but it doesn't.
But yeah, I can throw a bag of cauliflower in the steamer. That's gonna be different than
Yeah.
throwing salmon in a bag and
Yeah.
vacuum sealing it and fucking putting it in water and like s'il playing it or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not what it's called.
It's sous vide.
Sous vide, whatever the fuck
You
it
were
is.
close. I was like, no, that's not it. You're
No,
right.
it's not it. But that was like kind of the only table. But funny enough, her husband, she like got up to go to the bathroom at one point, and I walk up and I was like, "Hey, can I go ahead and grab you like another Diet Coke? How are we feeling?" And he goes, "No." Also, I'm so sorry about her. And I was
Oh.
like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, it's totally fine. You know, I get weird questions all the time. It's no big deal." And he goes, "Yeah, but she's fucking on one today. I'm sorry." And I was like,
That's my favorite thing.
okay, like relax. I'm pretty sure you like her, right? Like what the fuck?
Sometimes.
um,
When she's not ordering weird shit at a restaurant.
right. But the only time that she was ever like kind of weird or rude was when she was ordering.
Yeah.
Every other time I went to the table, she's a sweetheart.
Okay.
So it was like, yeah, it was a really odd
So
interaction.
she just doesn't like being told no.
I
which
guess
is, like,
so.
fair.
But it's like, okay, well, relax, you
Yeah.
know? I can't do everything for you. There's a limit to how much I can do because
Yeah.
I don't have the instruments to do everything.
I just press the buttons.
I just press buttons.
I just
yeah.
press the buttons and I make sure your food comes out on time
Yeah.
to the best of my ability. But real quick, my last table of the night was a party of 3. They got in at 8:40.
Ooh.
And it was only 2 people at the table, and I saw the extra menu and setup.
So you
And
knew a third was
so
coming.
I knew a third was coming. So I walk up and I go, "Hey guys, how's it going tonight?" And they're like, "Oh, hey, we're good." And I go, "Do we have a third joining us?" And they go, "Yeah, she's just in the bathroom." And I go, "Oh, okay, perfect. I mean, she's already in the building. We're not waiting." I go,
Yeah.
I did just want to let you know that the kitchen closes in about 20 minutes, so we do have more than enough time. But I just want to let you know. And they were like, "Oh, okay, absolutely. As soon as she gets back, we'll breeze through the menu. Like, we'll be super quick." And I was like, "Don't worry about
Okay.
it. It's not a big deal. What do you want to drink?" So one girl wants nothing, and then the other 2 want hot water with lemon. Perfect. This is easy. I've got this. So I get that out, I get them their bread, and I walk over and I go, "Do we need another minute with the menu?" And they're like, "Yes, please." So I'm like, "Sure, take your time." They order, and everything comes out, and they weren't difficult at all. They were very sweet and very understanding of the fact that we were closing, and they wanted
Yeah.
to get out of there. Like, they even told me they had the card out at the end of the table. So when I walked over and I'm like, were we feeling desserts? What's going on? They were like, "No, absolutely not. Here, take this."
Yeah, when
so
I dropped off the food and they were very sweet. They
Yeah.
they asked for a couple things, but they were very nice people.
Yeah, they were
yeah.
ready to be out by the time we closed, which
Yeah.
is very, like, I
Nice,
appreciate
thank
that.
you,
Yeah.
yeah.
So then I end up getting them a box, and I dropped the check after I ran the card. And then when I came back to clear some plates, they had asked me, "Oh, we really enjoy sharing the light of Jesus Christ with people." And this doesn't happen often, okay? This really doesn't happen often, and it certainly has never happened like this in my entire, 14-year serving career. Like, this has never happened. They say, that they love sharing the light of Jesus with people. And I go, oh, that's very kind of you. And I'm just,
thank you.
I just want that check. That's it. I'm so sorry, but you have signed it, and you are the only, like, I just need to put in that tip so I can do my checkout, and then I can go clean the rest of the fucking shit in the back. Like, that's all I need.
They're saying all this to you, and your fingers are like inching
I
towards
can't.
the check
It's
presenter.
sitting between the man and woman on the side of the booth, so it's
Ooh.
completely out of my reach.
Just leaning over slowly.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah. And so then the woman who is sitting by herself says, well, we just wanted to know, is there anything that can we pray for you for anything? And I'm like, oh, shucks, no, that's fine. Thank you guys. Oh, that's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. You don't need to do that. And they're like, anything, just anything at all. Like, even the smallest thing. Could we just want, and so I'm thinking of all the things that, I used to go to church years and years and years ago, right? And they do, like, the prayer chains or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
So it's like a collective thing. So I'm like, all right. I mean, like, I'm kind of in a rough spot. I will be looking for an apartment here soon. And, like, I'm a little stressed about it. That's all I said. And they were like, okay, yeah, absolutely. Oh my, no, we would love to pray for you. And I go, okay, cool. Thinking I'm going to walk away from the table right now.
Right.
And then she stops me and she goes, well, what was your name? And I was like, it's Bunny. And she goes, okay, Bunny, do you mind, like, could we pray right now? And I'm all, great. Great. Yeah, of course.
As I leave, yes, right? You
right,
don't need
yeah,
me here for this.
I don't need to be here for this, do I? And so then she says, do you mind, Bunny, if I put my hand on you? Like, would that be okay?
I'm going to put my hand on you when I say this.
And now I feel entirely trapped. I'm like, well, I done fucked up.
Yep.
And I should not have said a thing other than no, thank you, good night. And so she puts her hand on me, and the other woman reaches all the way over to, like, grab my forearm, and they start praying. Oh, thank you, Heavenly Father. We reach out to you for Bunny. We want to, we know that you have a place for her. You already have a place in mind for her of where she's going to be. And it's going to be even more, lustrous and grand than she's even thinking it could be. And it's going to be within her price range. And we know that you can do this for her, and you already have it for her. And if you could just show her the light and let her see it. And then she starts going on and on about how great I am as a human being. And I'm like, now, you're not wrong. But also, you don't know me, so please stop. Like, you're flattering, thank you. I do find myself to be a decent human being. But she's going like,
you could have already told me that they were going in, and I was like, yeah, of course they were.
So my head is down, and I am trying to keep my eyes closed, but I am also frantically looking around the restaurant for anyone to see this. I'm like, Buster, do you see this? Buster, and I'm looking for you because you're in the restaurant somewhere, and I'm like, where the fuck is Kat? And I'm like, and I start to sweat because this is so uncomfortable for me. And then after this woman's 4-minute monologue of a prayer, the other woman says, and also just Lord, I would just love to say, and continues for another like 2 or 3 minutes, and I am just bullet sweating down. I am holding in every giggle so hard because it's a running joke with my boyfriend that I am in fact a demon on earth. And so this is all just playing through my head the amount of times that he, like, when I sneeze, he says curse you. Like, it's an ongoing thing. This is so uncomfortable for me. I know this is nothing to do with the podcast. It's just about this table. This is what people do when they come into your restaurant and they think that they own you for this moment. And granted, I did lean into it a little bit because I thought, like, oh yeah, they're just being nice. Like, I'll bite, right? I'll bite this one time. They're being nice. I like it when people are nice. So they just want to be nice. It sounded sweet. I thought you were going to throw me on your list in church next Sunday. Like, that's what I thought I was signing up for.
Yep.
Not a literal 10-minute prayer session, hands on me.
In the middle of my restaurant.
In the middle of my restaurant. Thank everything that nobody else was in the restaurant. Like, no other tables existed at this time. And so then they finish it out, and I'm like, hey, amen, thank you guys. Like, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And because I was stifling so many laughs, I walk over to the terminal, and I had, like, my eyes were getting a little, it was hard. It was a hard sell to not just go, all right, fuck it, never mind. No, thank you.
I need you to stop
Keep your
right
tip.
now.
I can't do this. I am beyond uncomfortable.
How did they tip? Being church people.
It was perfect. It was perfect 20%.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
That's rare.
It was an exact 20%, and they had already filled it out before the prayer.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, they hyped you the fuck up, and they tipped you 20%.
I mean, I felt great the whole time, but also so uncomfortable. Please don't do that to people. And I don't know, like, I've gotten Bibles as tips.
Ugh.
I have gotten those.
I've gotten the fake money.
The fake money where you think it's a 50 or a 20 and then you open it and it's like, I'm not naive by any means, but now I can spot them a mile away. Like I look down and I'm like, thank you for nothing. But I will admit with the Bible that I received from one guest, because it was like a newly wrapped in like plastic wrap Bible, like a little pocket Bible, she did tuck $30 into that Bible. So she tipped me well over 20% for what her bill was, because she just ate by herself. Mm-hmm. This was, I don't know, 8 years ago now. But yeah, so she tipped me very well and gave me a neat little book. So I was like, oh,
a neat little book.
A neat little book that sat in the back of my car for I don't even know how many months. But anyway, so that was the ending of my night. So to start the night on such a just batshit wild, crazy ride, to then go to one of the slowest times we've had, at least in several weeks. This was one of my slowest nights. Mm-hmm. So now I'm just,
putzing around.
Yeah, I mean, I'm polishing things. I'm helping with side work, which I normally do, but like I had so much extra time.
Yeah. To
then getting the last 3 tables of the night, one of them being just a terribly smelling man who he smelled it was so assaulting of a smell from 2 feet away from the table. I could very, very clearly smell his BO. It was not
so. Thank God it was at the end of the night, and they didn't have to seat him at a table near other people.
Yeah, because I bet a table next to him would have complained. Like it was that bad, and I felt bad for the I think it was his son, maybe, I don't know, the teenage to early 20-year-old kid that was with him. I felt bad for him. I was like, you smell this, right? Like you looking at me? You smell this.
He either does smell it, or if he is still a teenager, like living at home, he could
might
be
not
nose
know
blind.
It. Yeah. So that was one, and then to be prayed at like aggressively.
Prayed at.
I was prayed on tonight, and I was very uncomfortable, and so I had to tell it, because that's one of the weirdest things. Great story. Do you mind if I put my hands on you? And I'm like, well, we're already this far. Like, I want to take all of it back, but now I'm knee deep, so okay.
I'm sludging through it at this point.
Yeah, like, all right, sure. I mean, and they were very kind. Like, I can't say that they weren't nice about it, but also, like, don't entrap your servers into your...
Entrap? So, on a Wednesday... So... Don't make fun of my weird accent.
From never having been from Minnesota.
No, but
she sure sounds like it.
My whole family is, and I learned how to talk with a weird Minnesota accent.
Here in...
California, because both of my parents had one. And so when they were teaching me how to talk, I spoke with a fucking Minnesota accent until I got to school.
You were made fun of a lot, weren't you?
A little bit. So this past week, our absolute waste of space meat sack that we call a fucking bar manager she put in her notice, a month ago now? Maybe 3 weeks ago?
Maybe a little over a month ago.
She
was checked out and then complained every single day about having to be in that building.
But ever since she put in her notice, she's been like ignoring me. Super passive aggressive.
Right.
Like she doesn't say hi to me anymore. Whereas before she had put in her notice, she would always come up to me waving, hi. She would want to gossip with me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and she would just talk to me like, how's your son? How's this? Da, da, da. Like she genuinely, you know what I mean? Like she was somebody that I could and would speak to.
Yeah, I would spend many nights with her in the office.
Right, during checkout, just
about
chatting.
Just the night or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then she put in her notice and she refuses to talk to me. She won't say hi to me. If I walk into the bev station to like grab drinks and she's in there talking to somebody else, she'll just turn around and walk out mid-sentence.
Leaves.
She 100% has been like avoiding me and been super passive aggressive with me.
Super weird.
Yeah, so I mean, at one point, I just became openly hostile. Like, if you're going to be hostile towards me, I'm going to be hostile towards you.
Yeah, you're going to feel it right back.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this isn't RuPaul's Best Friend race. Again, I don't care. Like, that's great. You don't want to be friends with me, that's fine. But when I come up to you and I'm not going to be like, hey, can I get that, comp on 33? Like, I'm going to go up to you and be like, hey, I need that comp on 33.
Right.
You know, I mean, like, my tone is just different with her now because her tone with me
rightfully
is different.
So. Yeah, if you're not going to treat me with any kindness, then what the fuck
any respect even. Yeah. Like, yeah, just bonkers. But this past week, I'm working in lounge. The bartender, brand new Southern Peach bartender, looks at me as she's making drinks in the well, and she goes, I need you to get the bar manager right now. And I look at her, and she's crying, openly crying at the bar top, making drinks. And I said, sweetie, go. Whatever you're making, I can make it. Don't
absolutely.
worry
Drop
about
it and go.
I got you. And she,
Oh,
right, she finishes making the drinks. The guy, there's a couple sitting at 3,
great.
like 3 and 4.
Super close.
And there's a couple sitting at like 8 and 9, so a little bit farther down the bar. The guy at 3 looks at me and he goes, hey, tell her to take a breath. That guy's just a dick. Don't worry about it. And he says it loud enough so that the other couple can hear.
Sure.
Like, he's doing this on purpose. He's trying to start a fight, right? Or at least let
Oh
her
my
and
God.
him know, like,
Yeah.
you're being rude to your wait staff type
Yeah.
deal. And she keeps trying. She's like, I'm fine. And I'm like, no, babe, just go. Like, fuck these tickets.
Yeah.
Fuck I can figure out what these
The
people
moment
need.
tears
Don't
are
worry about it.
involved, go outside.
Right,
Just drop
leave.
it all.
And you're
Don't.
not busy. Like, you know
We'll
what I mean?
figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you. Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. And I did. And she leaves. And I look at another server. I find another server and I say, go get the bar manager for me.
Yeah.
I need her. And I go, touch 3 and 4. And they're like, yeah, that guy's just super rude. And I was like, yeah, she's fine. I'll get my manager. My manager will deal with everything that's happening. Was she making your drinks, or you know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm touching. I go to 8 and 9, which now I know is the problem.
Sure.
And he was rude to our Southern Peach, and that's what's making her cry. So I walk up and I'm like, yeah, did we want food? I didn't say it quite like that, but I was like, did we want to order food today? And he was like, I think we're gonna wait a while. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then I just walked away.
Great.
Right? Like, I wasn't being super nice to him either, because, like, you just made my bartender cry.
Yeah. You're lucky
And
I
she's-
don't throw a drink in your face. Like,
right, you're
at
like, I
this
don't
point.
kick you out. This girl
Yeah.
is so fucking nice.
So one of the nicest people I've ever met. What are
Right.
you talking about?
Exactly. So I was like, you're a horrible human being.
Yeah.
But whatever. Do you want some shrimp?
Do you want fucking food or whatever?
And so I walk away, and the other server that I had told to go get the bar manager comes back, and she goes, I have no idea where she is. I can't find her.
Great. Surprise, surprise.
So I say, I hope she's in the back talking with Southern Peach, because that's where I need her to be.
Yeah.
No, nobody could find her. She wasn't in the manager's office. She wasn't on the floor. She wasn't in the back. She wasn't smoking by the dumpsters, because that's where Southern Peach was.
Right.
No, she was probably in the fucking bathroom vaping, where she always fucking is.
Yeah. She'll hang out in there for so long.
For 45 minutes, just on her phone, scrolling
Yeah.
through Instagram. Like,
Also, the bathroom's super gross. I don't know how she does it.
I don't
I don't
know
like
either.
being in there for moments, let alone.
but it's the one place nobody can find her.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
We don't know who's behind that door.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But she was the only fucking manager on. Like,
Great. So you're gone for how long?
Southern Peach was gone for maybe 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then she comes back, and I tell her, like, hey, I'll take care of that guy.
Yeah. Don't
From
don't
the
even
other
talk
side.
to
Yeah,
him again.
I was like,
yeah.
I'll don't ignore him completely. I'll take over. Because I look a lot more intimidating
Sure.
than she does. And she was like, no, I'm not going to let him get to me. I'm not going to let him ruin my day. And I was like, I'm talking revenge.
Yeah.
Like,
No, at this point, it's just the fact that he has made you cry, and you want to
Right.
know who's not going to cry dealing with him? Me, because now I'm
Exactly.
very upset for you.
exactly. I
Like,
was
you
like,
might be
no.
upset, but you have already been upset to tears, and I have not.
Ex-
Also, give me anybody to take some of this out on,
Yeah.
other than my microphone, you know?
Yeah. So, but nobody could find the bar manager. She just disappeared. Absolutely disappeared in this moment in time.
Shocking.
So she was nowhere to be found. When her bartender started crying because of a guest,
Yeah.
who had to take care of it? I did. I had to take care of this. I had to take care of your bartender. I had to take care of the problem guest, because the bar manager just couldn't fucking be found in this moment in time.
Did you ever find out what Bar 9 did to upset?
So I guess bar 9 sat down and then waited like 2 or 3 minutes. She walked up with, menus and stuff. She was making tickets. And then she walked up 2 minutes later, gave him things, and he said, oh, this is what I want to drink. She said, okay. While she's talking to them at bar 9, bar 3 sits down. So on her way back, she stops at bar 3
Sure.
and says, hey, folks, how are we doing? Can I, what can I grab you to drink? Da, da, da. And so they tell her, she gets their order. Okay, cool. She turns around, puts everything in. And at this point, she had 4 more like server tickets up in
Right.
service well. So she starts like trying to knock out some of the easier tickets on the service well, just so that it doesn't start piling up. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
I mean? So people aren't waiting too long for their drinks. He walks over to her, like from bar 9, gets up out of his seat and walks over to the service well. And he was like, we've been waiting 15 minutes and you're not even making our drinks. Make our drinks, and walked away.
You want to know who's not getting their drinks made now?
Not by me.
On it. Also, how do you know from where the fuck you're sitting what I'm making?
I don't know.
Unless you're just drinking 2 old fashions, you don't know what I'm making.
No,
so
not
step
at all.
off
You have no idea.
for one quick second.
Yeah, it was, yeah, so I guess just the way he said it and like what he said made her, and she's really sensitive about
yeah.
people saying that she's like taking too long.
Yeah, being slow.
Because I do think that that's a complaint maybe that she gets a lot is, servers are constantly telling the managers like, oh, my drinks are taking a really long time, da da da. And so management does all the time is they'll just pop back and start like taking over tickets and taking over service well, or
taking over your bar top.
taking over bar top and stuff like that. And she always gets that feeling like, oh, I'm not doing a good job. I'm not doing a good enough job for what my boss thinks.
She really beats herself up about it. Whereas
She really
I've told
does,
her
yeah.
like, I'm here to help.
Mhm.
I'm not judging you. I don't even need anything.
Yep.
I've gone up and I have not needed a single ticket. I don't have any tickets waiting. I just want to know what can I help you with.
Right.
Not because you're slow, because that's what we do.
Yeah.
I've got your back. You've got her back. I mean, even the managers at times will have your back. It's not. We all get behind. It's an immense amount of work behind that bar top.
Yeah.
So yeah, take the help. Like it's fine.
And I've always been, anytime I was bartending, if I had people on bar top, I would rather, if someone was going to pop back to help, I would rather you take over service well.
Yeah, you should be making the drinks so that way I can deal with my guests. But
Right.
like
My
half
guest
of the
is my
managers
money.
just wanted to, over half just wanted to talk to people. It's
Yeah.
the easier part of the job.
Well,
Also,
they
most
don't
of them
know the
don't know the
drinks, yeah.
cocktails.
Same day, I have it's like a party of 5. Not a whole lot of people are running food. There's people like doing silverware and doing side work, but not really paying attention. And I walk back because this table's food has been taking so long.
Sure.
It is now green. It's at 33 minutes.
Great.
Okay, but everything was expoed. So there was lemons on all of the plates. There was ketchup
Sauces.
on all the plates, sauces on all of the plates, sitting up under the heat lamp.
Great. Where we're not supposed to be putting ramekins at all.
Including my ahi that then continued to cook to almost medium well.
Great.
It was all expoed and then set under heat lamps. There
Who was in charge of expoing?
Oh, it was after the expo was meant to leave the line and go to, this was like after 8 o'clock. So the expo he had left the line already. He was in the back.
Ugh.
He didn't expo it.
Right.
So I go around asking servers, hey, did you expo this food? And they go, no, I'm kind of busy right now. I haven't been able to expo this food. I'm asking people doing side work, hey, did you expo this food? No, why would I expo it and not run it?
And not run it.
Yeah, you're right.
That makes sense.
But who was there that would have expoed the food and then just fucking walked away?
She would have.
Our bar manager.
Yeah.
That petty fucking waste of a human being. I was so fucking mad that she did that to my table. I almost wanted to tell my table, like, hey, I wanted to go in about how bad this was. And, if you guys want to talk to a manager, I would totally understand, just to get her to go to that fucking table.
Yeah.
And
Now
have to
you
comp
have to
some
fix
shit.
it. Yeah.
Exactly. I was so mad that she would expo all of my food.
And not grab somebody to run it. Are you kidding me?
And
If
not
I'm
do
putting
anything
ramekins
with
on a
it.
plate, I'm setting it out for somebody to run it.
Right.
And then I'm calling for people to run it.
Right, and she didn't even take it off the heat lamps to put it on a tray, which we as servers, that's how we know that food's ready to run.
That's how we have to do it.
We aren't supposed to go up to the expo line more often than not. That's what they tell us anyways.
Yeah.
Like, don't go up to the expo line. Like, you run food when it's on the trays ready to run.
Right.
So she didn't even put it on the trays and say, like, runners, and then walk away, which still would have been better because all of that food was overcooked now.
Yeah.
Because it had been sitting under the heat lamps for at least 10 minutes after it was finished.
Fuck off.
Because she just walked away and didn't say fuck all to anybody.
Where was she then?
In the manager's office, looking at Excel spreadsheets and her future yacht trip. I don't fucking know.
I was like, for the job she doesn't have anymore?
Well, her boyfriend's paying for all of her things now. He's going to pay for her to travel, and he's going to pay for her to, not be so stressed, because she's so stressed at this job. It's really hard,
It's
working
weird when
this
you
job.
take that step up and it's more work. Who knew?
Shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah. No shit.
You're salaried now and you have more to do.
Which
Go
she
figure.
knew when she went through supervisor training the entire time. So she could have
She was
easily...
ecstatic to be a manager. She was so happy to move up to being a manager.
Mm-hmm. She got pushed
now
through
what?
after...
Oh, immediately. Yeah.
That it got to a point where I had to, bite my tongue because I almost yelled like directly at her, like, if you're gonna hide away, can you at least give someone your card so that we can run this on our own without grabbing the kitchen all the time?
Right.
Like, if you're just gonna sit around and be a fucking lump of space
Yeah.
that exists in the restaurant, it fucking absolutely useless to us. The servers were already running the floor because there's not one point in time where she was fucking on the floor doing anything.
Before
So-
she left to the other restaurant that she was a manager at, she had done that with me. She handed me her card and fucked off.
Oh yeah, because she had a headache. I have a really bad headache.
I have a
I'm gonna
really bad
sleep.
headache. I'm going to go put my head down. I'm the morning hammer. So I have literally everything to do. So now there is nobody running the expo line in the morning. So I ran the line. I ran my tables, and I'm doing all of the comps and adjustments for the restaurant. So the moment that the nighttime manager got there, or they come in like the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah.
The moment he got there, I handed him her card, and I said, I have had this since 12. He goes, what are you talking about? And I go, well, it's not mine. It's bar manager's. I have had it. She handed it to me and went to go lay her head down.
Yeah, she didn't hand her card off to anybody this time. She just existed somewhere, not anywhere where anybody else could find her.
Somewhere.
She's just absolute fucking sucking up air somewhere.
She's been so checked out, and it's like, hey, I get it, but like I talked about with a couple other people, like, if you're that checked out, just take the fucking payout and be done. You're not doing anybody any good by coming in a day here, a day there between all of those vacation days that you're racking in.
No.
And like, more power to you, get your vacation time, but then when the moment you're in this building, fucking act like it.
Work, yes, please.
Because she hasn't in a month.
Also, I'm so curious as to why she switched on me. Because obviously, we do know that a couple people that work with us listen. Shout out to the crew.
Hey.
But I don't think if there is anything that I've ever said on this podcast that corporate or somebody else had, come to her and be like, hey, is this true? Did this really happen? Blah, 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 whatever. And she got in trouble for it. You've already put in your notice.
Yeah.
Why do you care? Like, what do you, if I had put
and
in
also,
my notice
I'm not
somewhere,
running around calling you out to everybody that'll listen. Like
I am.
I mean, we kind of are, but also I'm not really. And, like we say, this is all fake. So
It's, any similarities to actual persons, living or dead, is just a
so if
coincidence.
you're going to take anything I say personally, that's on you.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if I had put in my notice and our general manager 2 days later or a week later comes up to me and said, hey, so, this is going to be a problem. I'm going to have to write you up. I'd be like, okay,
great.
Give her the middle finger and fucking walk away. What the fuck do I care?
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't understand. So I can't imagine that it's anything I've ever said on here. And if it is, you're fucking weak.
Right.
Grow a pair of balls. What the fuck is wrong with you? Or is it just that she never liked me? And the minute she had put in her notice, she was like,
I don't have to fake it anymore.
yeah, she's like, fuck that bitch. I don't have to fake it anymore, which, more power to her.
Sure.
Good on you. It's just, it's
the last
baffling.
few days that she was here, that I was here, I definitely didn't get much out of her at all. Like, not that I walk around hoping that we can have long conversations or anything, but it was definitely...
but it had already been, I had already told you.
Right,
that she
you
was
had already
giving
been
me
dealing
cold.
with it for a while.
Yeah,
and
so
I had not.
You'd been looking out for like, oh, is she going to treat me differently?
Yeah, is it going to be something...
Is it just Kat? And I think it's just me.
Just you.
Because she'll still wander around, and do her little things with everybody. She'll kiki with all the servers, and then she comes up to me and she's just like, ugh, and walks away. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I couldn't believe it that day that I asked her for something from the liquor room, and it was like, hey, I need this for the bar, right? And so I was helping out the bar by getting something. And on the way back to the liquor room, this was only, 2 weeks ago? She starts to tell me how she's racking in all of her vacation days and how she's only here next weekend for one day, and then she's here the next weekend, and then that's it. She's like, and then the rest is vacation time, and then you're not going to see me. And all I could think is like, why the fuck are you telling me this?
Right.
Like, one,
You're subordinate.
I didn't ask, and two, what you're telling me is that I'm actively fucking you guys over and I don't care. Cool, dope, love that.
Thanks.
Like I said, get your bag, girl, but at the same time, like, maybe act a little,
And then she called out on Mother's Day, so it's not even like she
Yeah.
was there for that day.
called out on Mother's Day, then showed up to a different location the following day
To the following day,
to
eating
use
with
her comp.
to use her comp and eating dinner and having drinks and kikiing with our GM's ex-boyfriend.
Right. Wild.
I don't understand her story.
No.
It is crazy, but at this point, it's just funny because when she came back to our location, she was very much like, I don't want anyone to see me as the old server manager because everyone fucking hated the old server manager. She was
Yeah.
a lazy lump of space as well.
Yeah.
And, completely useless to everybody.
Just a drama queen and nothing else.
Yeah, she just wanted, everyone to pay attention to her, and she felt like she was better than everyone else, and she was, 24 and hot, and
Well,
that's
she had
what
done
she
it
was good
all.
for.
I mean, she had been a bartender, and she knew her way around this or
She's
that.
Never fucking bartender. But again, our bar manager tells people that she was a bartender. No, you
No,
weren't.
you weren't.
I trained you.
I was here for that. And
what
you,
I'm
in fact,
saying.
weren't. You went from bar training to supervisor training, and then you never, like, if she had,
worked 2 shifts.
I was going to say,
tops.
if she had a shift behind the bar, it was not many.
No,
Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, no, you weren't a bartender.
Right.
You had I trained you. You had maybe 2 shifts. Stop telling people you were a bartender.
also,
You never
tell
were.
me what's in the XYZ. Like, tell me.
Exactly.
Give me
And-
the measurements on anything.
But our old server manager did the same shit. She
Yeah.
was meant to move up to bar.
Right.
And then COVID hit, and she went home and learned all of the recipes.
Sort of.
It's kind of.
Except the day she had to take over the bar, they pulled all the fucking bar stools away from it because she couldn't
couldn't
handle it. And it's like, well, that was the only chance you were gonna make some fucking money today. But okay.
Whatever. But yeah, the new bar manager's like, I just don't want people to see me as the same as the old server manager because I'm not that. I'm a hard worker. I'm this. I'm that. Da 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 da. She turned out to be almost fucking worse than the old
Almost.
server manager.
Yeah.
I
mean, at least I could get the old server manager to touch tables.
yeah.
Getting the bar manager to touch tables is like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
I mean, like, please, I've got a problem. Oh, well, then take this off, take that off, or I'll comp this. One time I literally, not even a month ago, I had a table where there was a significant problem. And I'm trying to get it worked out with her. And she's standing at the terminal with me, so she comps off 2 of the entrees, which is like, yeah, that's what I would also do.
Yeah.
But then instead of going to talk to the table, she just went back into the office. And I'm
useless.
like, no, you have to go and tell the table that we comped it. They don't care to hear from me anymore.
Right.
As far as they were concerned, the problems were my fault.
Everything's our fault.
They
yeah.
don't care to hear from me again. Get your fucking ass over there. And she didn't. She just walked herself right back in. So then I went to the kitchen manager and I was like, hey, like, this is what happened.
How awkward.
Yeah, and I was like, we took it off, but I just, and he's like, oh, I'll go head over, rolling his eyes like,
because everybody knows.
yeah, that it wasn't done properly, you
Right.
know?
Just a meat sack with a card. Absolutely, and pretty hair. That's all she fucking is. It's so fucking annoying.
I'm just glad that we don't have to deal with her anymore because
Same.
I couldn't do it with the attitude of every day she's just whining and crying about the fact that she's there at all.
Yeah.
It's like not a single person in here has forced you to do this. Believe it or not, you did this to you.
Yeah, also shockingly enough, most of us don't want to be here right now. We're just here to make money.
Right.
So either you make
shut
money.
up. Yeah, shut up and do it. Or get the fuck out. Just get the fuck out.
And she's getting the fuck out. I can't wait to meet the new bar manager. I'm very curious. Apparently he's only been managing for a couple of months.
That's fine.
Like 6 months to a year, right? He's been with the company and he's been managing the whole time. I'm hoping that he's like young and eager. Like he,
Right.
you know what I mean? He really wants to put the bar into place.
Yeah.
He wants to learn. He wants to do the things. He wants to be good at his job. That's what I'm hoping for because that's what we need. We need somebody that's, you know what I mean, going to be very eager
yeah,
to
and
do
hands-on. We need
Hands-on,
somebody hands-on
yes.
in that role and not just don't make me a new fucking bartender binder. I swear to fucking God, if somebody adds more colored tabs and prettier writing to the front of this fucking bar binder, like, fuck off. What
Yeah.
I need you to be hands-on. I need you to get in it, and we need to figure some shit out. Like,
Yep.
we've got 2 strong women with us now, one being Southern Peach, and even though she might not be the fastest, she is very, very eager to learn, and she wants to be good at her job, and that's all
Yeah.
I can ever ask from anybody that's here with me right now.
Yeah, and she
So-
might be slower to learn than,
I don't
some
even
other
think
people.
she's all that slow. I haven't had that long of ticket times when she's been in the well. I haven't seen her get ridiculously overwhelmed before. And
I haven't seen her get super overwhelmed. No.
I work with her consistently enough,
Yeah.
like I work 5 days a week, so I see her often enough. I don't think it's that bad. I just think that she does really beat herself up about it. I think she wears it heavier than any of us think it of her.
The only time I've
But-
ever had a long ticket time with her is when she has guests at the bar, because she's really good with her guest, and she's really personable, and she wants to chat with them. She wants to be, you know,
Right,
that
and
bartender.
also make your money, because
Exactly. Yeah, make your money for sure. But that's the only time I've ever had like a long-ish ticket time is
Sure.
because she's busy with her guest. It's not because
it's
she
not just
has...
because she's not making things fast enough.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
never been that.
So, yeah, I just want somebody that's going to be able to come in here and see it for what it is and just be like, all right, here are the cracks, here's how we fix them. Like, or at least have ideas. You don't even need to know how to fix them. Just have some ideas as to what would help, because our turnover rate for bartenders is gross.
It's so bad.
It's so bad. Nobody wants to do it.
Like, when I first started, the 3 bartenders that were working had been with the company for
a long
5+ years,
Yeah.
each of them.
Well, except one of them, but yeah. 3+ years for every single person there, and seemingly they were more than happy to do the job.
And they were
for a while.
for a while. They were such a strong team together.
They were a very strong team together.
They went through COVID together, so
Yeah.
it was definitely like they had a team.
Yeah.
And so coming into it, obviously that was a little intimidating. It was
Sure.
me and one other girl. She had been hired like a month before me. So, you know, we were kind of new-ish. But I felt like for the most part, we integrated into that team relatively well.
I think so.
Like we had the group chat, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? We would all discuss things with each other. We would keep everybody up to date with things that were happening.
Yeah.
It was something that, you know, we were always in communication. All 5 of us were in communication with each other if anything were to ever happen that needed to be discussed amongst the bar team.
Right, and getting shifts covered between you guys flowed naturally and
it's
everything.
Super easy.
And
it wasn't an issue.
Ever since people started dropping off of that, it's been
Just
it's
one
like
after the
pulling
other.
teeth getting a bartender to stay, and I can't say that I blame anybody.
No, I definitely don't
It's
blame
not
them.
it's not great. You need to be able to buckle down and be like, okay, I'm really gonna crank it out. And if you're not, then and also I don't know what the fuck they're promising these bartenders when they start, but they
The
need to
world.
start being a lot more real.
Yeah, they're
Like,
promising them the world.
The people that have come on, not our current staff, but the people from before who had come on were very much led to believe, like the people in the last year were led to believe that this was going to be like their absolute fucking money-making shifts. And they're not.
No.
And I, like, the entire staff's telling them that. We're just like, well, it can be if you really crank out, or like on a good night, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But then we're just not making strides to make it any better. And that's all I hope. I just hope that when he comes on, we can be like, hey, because even though I don't bartend anymore, I still very much see everything that's going on. And I was also a part of it, watching it crumble.
Right.
So, and I cover when they absolutely need me to, you know, like I'm still there. So if input wants to be received, I'm happy to be like, hey, here's some ideas I have, like, that might possibly boost a bit. And honestly, we just need a strong bar team. That's all we need. Like, strong together.
Exactly.
Not one individually stronger than the other, nothing like that. Just a collectively strong together team, like people that are willing to
well
work
together. Yeah.
together, which means one of them's got to go. That's all. I'm saying.
I'm not naming names.
I mean, she's got to get the fuck out. No, I mean, it was just I'm just happy to be busy again at work. Like, last week was a amazing week for me. It felt so good to be back into that.
Good for you. Last week was shit for me.
Oh, no, last week felt like this is why I have this job. That's what it was. Every single day solidified the fact that I am in the industry I'm in because I make the money that I make, and because it was just good. Like, it was good all the way around. Like, I felt like the restaurant was doing good. I felt like my coworkers were doing good. Guests were all consistently happy. Like, last week's, like, just re-amped me into, like, hell yeah, this is why I do it.
Yeah, after
And
Memorial
then-
Day, we'll start picking up again, too. So it's like every shift is really good.
Right.
So.
Well, and it's like this is the summer's our busy season, so this is when we start to pick up. And then so I work Thursday, Friday, both beautiful days. Can't really complain. I work today. Obviously, we discussed what happened, but even then, I'm still doing okay. So, like, I'm just all in all lately. Things are chill.
Yeah. Yeah. You ready to check out?
Yeah, we can check out.
All right. Bye.
Bye.